sun, you can feel the heat. Whoa. When the pressures rise, building up inside, trying to break it down. But you come back stronger, ready to fight. Can't wait any longer. It's our time. It's like a force of nature. No stopping now. It's the stars to make it. Stronger than that. It's like a force of nature. No stopping now. It's the stars to make it. Stronger than that. Stronger than that.
Ethan Burrell, big spin by the 50-60s. It won't be enough. Chris Records on the back of Johnny Johns, who covered the spot. But Johnny is going to Victor Lane at the corner, scores the win. The home place beer competing by
It's like a force of nature. No stopping now. It's the stars that make it. Stronger than that. It's like a force of nature. No stopping now. It's the stars that make it. Stronger than that. Stronger than that.
Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This part of the season these guys have been waiting for. Tonight, we are going to figure out who our championship 4 is for 2022 Season B. So glad you could join us. I am Alexander Ned, and I'm joined here with my best in the business there, Rashad there.
Hey, Alex.
So good to be with you once again. Feels like back like old times.
It absolutely does. I'm so looking forward to this. It's going to be a fun race to call, man. It's obviously going to be an exciting one. It's the final cutoff race here before all these drivers head towards that championship race, and we're going to decide who those last 2 drivers are to make that championship 4. And, well, talk us through the points as they stand. You've obviously been covering the season. Looks like it's been an exciting couple of races here to set up this one.
Yeah, Matthew Weeks and Tyler Fody are the only 2 that can really leave here and during this race comfortably because they are in. But that means we have 2 spots that will be decided here tonight. And you can see they are just decided by 13 and 12 points. Not a lot of wiggle room around that bubble line. There are going to be 4 other drivers that are vying for at least one of those positions here. That'll be one based on points, or both of them here tonight. You see, hey, Steinmiller, he's in the 9th position. He's the only driver uneligible for points. He must win in order to keep his championship hopes alive here tonight. Stranger things have happened, though, at Richmond.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Steinmiller right now starting back in 14th, and historically, we'd expect this type of race to maybe have a number of cautions, though I think we also have seen a race like this go green for a number of laps. So hopefully we'll see the ladder there, get a chance to watch, tires wear out, watch these guys really fight these cars up the racetrack as they're dealing with the long runs. But we'll find out here as Scott Crum, Shane Terrian are your front row. Shane Terrian, your pole sitter, got step 1 done. He's 12 points out. Or 11 points out now with that extra point for pole position of that final 4, and he's in the best possible spot to go out, win this, and lock himself into that championship fight.
He needs to keep his car out of trouble, though, and that is typically easier said than done here at Richmond. Hopefully, we will see a clean and green race. The field is on the back stretch here for the virtual Richmond Motor Speedway. Or Richmond International Speedway, I'm sorry. I said that in immediately knew it was wrong. But hey, what is right here as Scott Crum actually beat Shane to the line.
Interesting.
We're sure that Scott may have been the pole sitter.
It might have been, and that could be my bad for sure. It might have been Scott Crump there that we missed, but we are we are under green now. Scott Crump, Shane Terry, and Johnny Thomas, and Crump, not one of those guys in the championship fight, so he's going out there right now just to get wins for himself. There you can see some of the color coding on the left-hand side of your screen on the ticker. So those drivers who are listed, let's take a look and see. So Tyler Fody, who has the white number, he's in. Chad Frankenfield, Tate Lytle. You can kind of see our two guys who are, again, they're in right now, but they're not locked. And then, of course, everybody in red on the outside looking in.
Yep. And they need to have good days, Frankenfield and Lytle, who is our defending series champion, because if you go out early, we had mentioned there before we went to green, Rashov, that there are 37 cars here. That's a lot of points on the line that you can lose.
It really is. You got to be careful early on in this race, as here we watch Nick Massey side by side with that's Andrew Rucker up top. And yeah, right now, guys doing a good job settling into a rhythm, not getting too aggressive with one another, giving each other a lot of room, and that's going to be key. Again, we want to see this race go green, and of course, for these championship contenders, they want to see it go green as well, especially when you look at the fact that, there's only one driver who's on the outside of that top 4, inside the top 10 right now in position. So a lot of guys have a lot of climbing to do up the order if they want to make it.
Yeah, I saw Tate Lytle was back in the 23rd position there, so heavy traffic.
Yeah, Tate Lytle showing 23rd, but also up 10 positions from the start. So a very strong start right now from the 56 car, and I wonder if that may have been a decision not to qualify that car. And so right now he's got a little bit more pace than what that starting spot showed.
We got a car spinning right in front, and that's Andrew Rucker. That will bring out the caution. Looks like a single car spin on the back stretch.
Nah, that was a 64.
Hope so. Here, let's take a look. Andrew Rucker.
64 machine right behind Nick Massey. Yep, car just gets away from him.
Yep.
And some significant contact in the back end. Back left quarter panel damage.
And I think that's something we could see quite a bit, is these cars being very, very loose off of turn number 2 especially. And then sometimes as well coming off of turn number 4. Here you're going to see it's pretty late in the exit as well. It's kind of getting right back on the power there, and just a little bit too much throttle for Andrew Rucker. Around he goes. Very slow and progressive incident, but there you can see the damage, and obviously brings out the first caution of the night.
So if memory serves me correctly, I believe a fuel window is about 90 laps here, so these guys will have to pit twice for fuel during the course of this race.
Yeah.
Under green flag.
For sure. And we could see potentially more than that if there are a lot of cautions, because of just how, the way that tires are probably going to burn off here. You're going to lose a lot of pace over the course of the run, would be my guess. So something to pay attention to, especially late in the race. If we do get a yellow after a long green flag run, we could see guys making that call to come down pit road. But I could also see track position being pretty important here. Tough to make overtakes, quickly at a track that's so short, especially with very few laps in the end. So all things to pay attention to when we get down to it. But we're only about to tick over to lap 10 next time by, so very early days in this race.
Yes, a lot of time still to decide our championship for. As we stay under the caution flag here currently. We'll leave you with some pictures, some sights and sounds here at Richmond. Don't go anywhere. This championship for cutoff race is just getting underway.
On the gas, and you do a little tire warm up while you're at it, because the tires get cold, man.
I'm not gonna lie, Harry, that's actually what I do.
Welcome back. Cleaning up our first caution there. A Andrew Rucker spin on the backstretch there. Scott Crump and Shane Terrian. Scott Crump has led every lap here so far, and he is your pole sitter. He will return the field back under the green flag here. He gets going early in that Geico restart zone. We're back underway, side by side for second. Johnny Thomas is giving Shane Terrian some fits there, turn one.
Yeah, he is, and it's a better restart for Johnny Thomas too, by the looks of it, at least initially. Terrian looked good though, coming off of 2 with that higher lane. You get the better run off the corners, but Thomas able to dive it in on the bottom. Looks though like it's advantage back in favor of 83, and it is. So Johnny Thomas will settle back into third. Meanwhile, we've got on the outside Nick Massey looking to try and find his way around Chad Frankenfield and Wesley Crump. Right now he's outside of Frankenfield, trying to get that run going, but I'm not sure if that outside lane is going to be preferred or the inside lane over the course of this run. Right now is looking pretty good though, I will say, for Nick Massey getting that run around the outside of Chad.
And I don't think Chad is going to be one of these drivers to take a big risk here tonight. He basically just needs to finish inside the top 10, have a good solid day like he's doing right now, and he'll be battling for a championship.
Yeah, it looked like Massey may have just grazed the wall there coming off of turn number 4. Don't want to be doing that. That's obviously one of those risks of running up high on the racetrack. Maybe not significant damage, but enough of a slowdown at least to stick him behind the 15 car now at this point, as we're watching Wesley Crump and Trey Holmes go side by side.
Yep, and just behind Ryan Gavel, another one of the drivers there inside the championship 9 currently. And he's being worked by Trevor Elam in that 29 car.
Yep, Elam right now looking to the inside briefly with Hunter Smith on the outside. But settling back in behind Gavel, needs to make sure he's clear of Smith before he gets rolling back up the road. Meanwhile, up front, it's single file for the most part. And then the first 2-wide battle we have here is this battle with Wesley Crump and Trey Holmes. Says, "Ooh, we have a car." Justin Vandermeerl loose off of 2, but he saves it and keeps it pointed in the right direction. We stay green.
Yes, we both saw that at the same time there, caught our eye.
Oh!
But he gets it, Michael Goodman and Harrison Talon. And Talon is going to go for a slide. That will bring out the caution. Michael
Hank
Hossack
Steinmiller
also involved.
Oh my gosh.
Is Hank Steinmiller involved?
Yeah, Hank Steinmiller got a little piece of Vandermeerl, and I don't know what he was doing, driving up the racetrack like that off of turn number 4. But we're absolutely going to have to go and check out the Whiskey Cast replay here.
This wreck started in turn 2, though.
Yeah, it did, and it's just, oh man, let's take a look at how it all begins. It almost felt like it was kind of a last grasp effort to try and not get overtaken. So here's the initial mistake by the 21. There you can see the slide. Good save, though, to keep it off the inside wall. But then it's coming off of turn 4 that I'm just so curious as to what he was thinking.
What happened? Yeah. He gets up into the side, and yeah, like he didn't recognize that Michael Goodman was there. He bounces back into Harrison Talon, who's an innocent victim. Michael Hossack gets a piece of the action as well. And our second caution is going to involve multiple cars there on the front stretch.
Yeah, a lot of cars involved in that, and let's take a look, see if we can grab that secondary incident again. It's just, I just don't quite know what the thought process is. Here's Michael Hossack, who's a little bit behind here, and what you're going to see as well is that the 21 car starts to just drive down, and you can't do that either. It's the secondary action as well that again, the stewards, I think, are not going to be happy with. They might have called that initial incident a racing deal, even though I'm not sure I'd agree with that. But the secondary part of the incident, when you're in a crash like that and your car's sliding, you should not be moving it in the way of any other cars coming in. Like, you have to be super, super aware of what's going on around you at that point, and it felt like he wasn't. So, yeah, not great there from the driver of the number.
The 21.
Yeah, seriously. Currently, he is just now rolling off pit road, and I think he'll stay on the lead lap. But I think he's also awaiting steward's decision of whether or not he'll be issued a tally.
Definitely. It did not look like he beat the pace car there, so he will lose a lap on pit road.
Oh, wow. Yep.
And our leader's still staying out. I believe the sets of tires these drivers have, their 6 set of tires, which is an insane amount considering the fuel window here. So,
yeah,
but
keeping them. I think they're giving them options for, again, those cautions if they do end up coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we do know, we have seen that in real life as much. New tires can be upwards of a second and a half faster than old tires here at Richmond. So, but under caution here for the second time, we'll come back with the restart. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Richmond 200. All right, welcome back, the Richmond 200 here at Richmond Speedway. Scott Crump has led every lap so far. We're only 23 laps into it. He has gone early in the Geico restart zone the previous 2 times. He looks to do it a third time. He gets off cleanly in the way, but this time Shane able to keep the 91 a little bit back on bay.
Yeah, Johnny Thomas looking good on these restarts initially at least, but it's starting to trend towards that outside lane maybe just being a little bit better, giving you those runs off the corners that you can start to use. If you can drive it in deep while still being able to run that outside, could give you a chance, but Chad Frankenfield trying to make that inside line now work, and he's gotten up close to alongside Johnny Thomas, but they touch.
And the 15, can he save it? This is a big slide.
Oh, man, this is huge.
And this is huge. Multiple cars are going to be involved in turn number 4. My goodness. We had talked about how the 15 need to keep it together, have a good day. That was an aggressive move he made on Johnny Thomas the turn beforehand in turn 1 and 2. And now our third caution of the day is going to involve multiple cars.
Yeah, that's a huge one because that's right at the start of the pack, and you saw just how everybody got caught up in that. And this one, we're gonna have to slow this down. We might need a freeze frame basically to see who all got caught up in this because it looked like the entire field did. Here's what it looked like when the incident took place. It was Chad Frankenfield and Johnny Thomas.
Johnny Thomas does a great job, but Tyler Fody goes around here, Trey Holmes, Brent Jones. And everybody stacks up in that outside lane. The track is blocked. You see Joey Chapman in the 60 go around, Jeff Green. My goodness, like...
It's everybody. It is absolutely everybody was involved in that wreck. It's obviously how much damage did each of these guys come out with, but my, oh my.
The 15 did not need this at all. It doesn't look like terminal damage, but damage nonetheless.
Yeah, you see there, that's...
he's going to have to fix that and be behind the entire field.
Absolutely, yeah. That's Josh Clark, too. Got caught up in that. He's another one of your championship contenders there with the blue banner. Hank Steinmiller got stopped up. I don't know if he picked up much damage. Tyler Fody, of course, we saw get turned around. There you see these guys coming onto pit road, so possible damage. So Clark has to deal with that. Fody stays out. But we also saw then, who else? Hank Steinmiller.
Too far behind or fixing the damage to put themselves a lap down. We saw that come to fruition for Hank Steinmiller last week, and he never got his lap back.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Short track racing will do that here, so that is something to keep in mind. We're not even at lap 30. We already have our third caution here, Rashov. That's not a good look.
No, it's not. And what's even crazier right now to me is because of the way that iRacing throws these cautions, Chad Frankenfield got all his positions back. He's going to restart this in 6th. So in terms of drivers who got negatively affected by that, Chad Frankenfield was not one of them. That's an interesting way of calling things up in race control, but that's how the rule book is, and I'm not sure I agree with that.
That definitely he was. How would he be able to keep his spot considering he lost all those positions there?
Yeah, the way that iRacing calls it is when the caution comes out, whatever position you're in, that's how they do it. So it must have been that Chad Frankenfield, when that caution came out, was still at the front of that whole pack. He was the last to leave that group, but he was the first one to bring out the caution. He was still at the lead of that group of cars, and well, here you go. He's going to restart on this next lap in the 6th position alongside Nick Massey. So in terms of damage to his championship hopes, that's pretty much none.
Yeah, but he hopes to keep it that way, and if he's able to, we're saying that he's part of the championship 4 here today. It'll be because of that.
Yeah, that'll be a savior for sure.
That is interesting, but yep, we're already set to go back racing. You see them double wide on your screen. And Scott Crump electing to start on the outside this time.
Yeah, a little bit different. Wonder if he wants to try and pin Shane Terrian down, give Wesley Crump a chance on the outside there. But Wesley not quite able to react as quickly as Scott, and Shane Terrian able to stay in front now. So now it's Wesley versus Johnny Thomas. Wesley can still gain a spot here if he can hold on this outside lane. And I think he's going to.
Johnny Thomas, who went with that long slide. And remind me there, Rashov, because I don't do a lot of racing, but when you have a big slide like that, does that hurt the tires here, or is there such a thing as, tire temperature, and because of that caution flag, he was able to cool them off?
Yeah, I mean, you've got tire temperature that you're going to manage. Those are obviously going to heat them up pretty quick. But I also think with these next-gen cars that we've been racing for a couple of seasons now, because you've got these slimmer sidewalls, they're not quite as bulky as those old ones. They're able to deal with kind of huge amounts of heat being thrown at them a little bit better than those older the older tires. So you can kind of slide around and still be okay in terms of getting these back into a working temperature range is kind of what I've heard.
So far still in front of the 15. And we'll see an aggressive move is made this time. Chad is looking on the outside.
Yeah, this is good defense here from Johnny Thomas hanging on the bottom lane. I would have thought that Wesley Crump would have been able to clear him pretty quickly. It just looks like that outside lane a little bit more preferred, and now he's getting some support from teammate Chad Frankenfield.
Ooh. Got a little bit of a bump there, pushed him a little bit out of the groove. But yeah, that outside lane seems to be hanging tough.
Yeah, outside lane starting to look better for sure, at least at this point in the run. And finally, he's clear of Johnny Thomas into the corner as well. And for Wesley Crump, he can start to use that whole racetrack, and that's going to bottle up Johnny Thomas there, and I think that's going to let Chad Frankenfield through as well. So just that right there is the detriment of starting on the bottom lane. He might be able to hang on, not quite, but I think he wants to get up maybe about half a lane to a full lane off the bottom here of the racetrack, be able to use the whole racetrack to drive off the corners, because right now he's very limited on what he can do in terms of throttle application. Chad Frankenfield, meanwhile, trying to find a way past the 16 car.
Nice to see the pace in that car is still there. I was worried about the damage when he got spun around, because despite him not losing any spots damage-wise, it would still be a detriment on that car, and it looks to be okay currently.
Yeah, it's holding on pretty well. Obviously, I think in a small, incident like that, you may be looking more at cosmetic or aerodynamic damage, which, at a short track maybe doesn't matter quite as much. So he may have gotten away with one there, if there even is any significant damage to that car. These new bodies also, I think, do a little bit better job at absorbing impact. Though of course that leaves the driver to take the rest of the impact, as we've seen in real life racing this year.
So I believe was the 2 car just on the exit screen get very loose there. I'm sorry, not 2. It was the 12. There it is.
There you go. Zach Rogers then running in 10th, up 22 spots though. So he's looking pretty good there right now in terms of the run. So a little bit of a moment, but pace in that car for sure. His most recent lap, I mean, he's lapping very similarly to a lot of the guys in front of him, and even faster than a few spots further forward, as Johnny Thomas continues to tumble down the order, now down to 8th position there. Just struggling to get momentum back in that car, and really just struggling with pace at this point.
Ryan Gallo just underneath him now, and Matthew, one of our championship 4 drivers, we already know is going to be fighting for a spot to be a champion next week, which is hard to believe there. We're already at that point in the season, but it is. Unfortunately, I will not be there to see that there, Rashav. I was telling you there. I myself am going to be out of town, and I will not have access to iRacing, so this will be my last race. But it's been an honor to come back here after what has been a crazy year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing to have you back in the booth, of course, after the off season and missing you in the first half there. And yeah, man, it's been great to listen to the call, and of course every now and then get a chance to work with you up here in the booth. So I think 2nd or 3rd time this season we've gotten the chance to do this, and I love every second of it, man. So obviously enjoy the holidays and enjoy the vacation from it, and for myself as well. I think this will be my last production of the year. So man, 2023 is coming pretty quick.
It is, man. Only 3 weeks. Doesn't seem like it. This year has flown by.
For sure, but for these drivers, I mean, still a long way to go for many of them, and I think tonight and next week are going to feel like an eternity for those who are in the championship battle.
It is shaping up to be a good one, though. Still 2 spots up for grabs here tonight. Shane Terrian doing all he can, trying to get a point there so that he can, if he leads the lap, he'll get a point there. Has been unable to do that. Scott Crump has led every lap here tonight.
Yeah, Terrian doing a good job here, just sticking to the back of Scott Crump, and the 2 of them together have gapped Chad Frankenfield by over a second now. So definitely these 2 seem to be the 2 with all the pace in the world. Of course, we've seen situations where that may not matter, again, just depending on how this race plays out. But, if we do see some long green flag runs, definitely look at Shane Terry and Scott Crump as 2 guys to really watch out for over the rest of this field.
They're doing so. They have put a second and a half between Crump and Frankenfield currently, which is an eternity here in Richmond.
Yeah, it really is. There's Terrian. You can kind of see. I mean, it feels longer than it looks, I suppose, there on screen. Camera just flipping back a couple of car lengths. But you're going so much slower, of course, here at Richmond. That gap a lot bigger than it appears there. I mean, he can still see Shane Terrian up ahead, and yet it's second up the road.
They have been beating and banging here so far on this short track. Has provided lots of action here currently. We're already only a quarter into the action. Working lap 51 with 200 currently. Scott Crump leading them all. taking a look throughout the field, Hunter Smith and Nick Massey, your fourth and fifth drivers. Hunter Smith's doing a good job here. Nice to see him running well.
Yeah, he is up 8 from his starting spot, now up inside the top 4 for Little Eagle Racing and Stay Tuned Esports, both of those teams. And they work closely together, having some good runs right now. You got 3 of their cars in the top 4, and then Wesley Crump a couple of spots back as well. And then, of course, the one Sky Motorsports Toyota of Shane Terrian there sitting in second, trying to work his way towards the leader, Scott Crump. Here we go, move complete there by Ryan Gavel, getting past Nick Massey. Massey's going to try and get back at him, but Gavel in this championship hunt, Massey not. And Gavel needs a number of points there to kind of find his way in, and needs to get those on Chad Frankenfield and Tate Lytle. Tate Lytle right now still driving his way back up the order, sitting in 12th right now, doing exactly what he needs to do, kind of picking off drivers one by one to get into a safe spot to make sure he advances to try and go for a three-peat.
Doesn't need to have the best day, but needs to have a good day for our 56 driver. And yeah, he could go for a three-peat, the first ever in, I believe, history.
Oh yeah.
Of the DoranIndians.com Cup Series.
Yeah, and he's doing exactly what he needs to right now, which is just kind of getting himself out of that danger area of, being in kind of mid-pack, especially the teens or even this back end of the top 10. You find yourself back inside the top 5, and all of a sudden you kind of know the type of driver you're going to be facing against. You've raced with them a million times before, and so it's a little bit easier to avoid collisions and incidents. Of course, right now he has Tyler Fody in front of him, and these two have gone at it so hard and so fair over the course of their number of seasons together. I'm sure he's going to have a ton of respect here racing Tyler Fody, but also it does seem like that 40 car seems hindered after that incident with Chad Frankenfield getting caught up in that.
It might have been just a little bit slightly damaged. We talked about how aerodynamically at a short track, you're not typically that much at a disadvantage, but it can hurt the car, and we're seeing that 40 car slide back just a little bit. Thankfully, though, with his win last week, he's going to be a part of the championship force, though. That spot really doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it'll be frustrating tonight, I think, for Tyler Fody, because you kind of may be feeling like I can't really do anything more if the car is damaged. You feel like it's a missed opportunity, but at the end of the day, he is in the most comfortable seat. Him alongside, of course, Matthew Weeks are both in the most comfortable seats here tonight. And speaking of Matthew Weeks, where is he running right now?
He's inside the top 10, I believe, in the
couple spots forward, yeah.
So just behind Pro Edge Racing Toyotas. Racing together there. Tate Lytle has actually caught David Tucker. And Tucker is going to relinquish that spot. Looks like he just moved over.
Yeah, not sure if Tucker just drove it in a little bit deep there. But yeah.
That may have been a thank you driver turn.
Could very well have been there. So Tucker, though, of course, has to still think about championship as well, doesn't he?
No, he's not a part of it.
Or he's out of it. Okay, he just has that banner still in the car. That's my bad.
Oh, is there? I didn't even notice on the car. See, he's trying to sneak in.
I haven't been following the standings as closely, of course, as you have. So I gotta make sure I got the notes all pulled up so I can keep following them.
But yeah, David Tucker, he missed a couple of weeks there, unfortunately. Was bumped out in the round of 14.
I do remember that, actually. Yep, of course. So yeah, then what do we have? We have Hank Steinmiller, R.C. Enerson still in it, but I don't think he's racing tonight. So I think he's out of it as well.
Yes.
Then, of course, Ryan Gavel, Shane Terry, and Josh Clark all on the outside looking in. Tate Lytle, Chad Frankenfield, the two defending their points.
And the two doing the best job so far, Shane Terry and Ryan Gavel. Or, excuse me, and Chad Frankenfield.
Absolutely. Shane Terry, and I will say, starting to drop back now. Chad Frankenfield's caught back up to him, and it's more that I think Shane Terry losing pace because Scott Crump's driven away from him.
Yep. That 1.5 second gap has now fallen away, but Scott Crump, our leader, is about to get into lap traffic here, and that could play a factor here. We never know about lap traffic and what could happen here.
Yeah, we've seen lap traffic play into to a number of races before. I think early on here, possibly not. Hopefully these guys will be smart here with the leaders around them, especially early on in this race. But 66 laps complete, and it goes by quickly when you're able to stay racing and staying at racing pace here. Scott Crump still putting in some very solid lap times. Him, Shane Terry, and Chad Frankenfield now starting to even out a little bit more. Ryan Gavel, though, has been very quick recently late in this run, and same with Tate Lytle. Tate Lytle, the fastest driver late in this run as he's working now to get past Hunter Smith. And all of a sudden, Tate Lytle is in the top 5. It felt like just 10 laps ago he was outside the top 10.
Yeah, he passed both Pro Edge Racing teammates here, Matt Smeeks and David Tucker, the last time we talked about him, which was not that long ago. So he has definitely moved up. And an interesting approach, considering if he did not qualify, which we believe to be the case, to make up that as many spots as he has this early in the race. It's still early.
Yeah, still very early days, but definitely this 56 car now becomes more of a contender again, I think, on a long run. And I think we've started to see this more and more from Tate Lytle, where his strength is on these long runs. You know, we talk so much about the likes of Chad Frankenfield, Scott Crump to an extent as well, being these guys who can just rocket away from the pack on short runs. But when it comes down to just grinding out the laps and keeping, pace in the car over all of those laps, I mean, Tate Lytle and Tyler Fode kind of are the two in my eyes that separate themselves from everybody else. And we're seeing this type of run right now from Tate. Tyler's struggling a little bit, though I don't know how much of that is damage or how much just Tyler Fode not quite gelling with that car yet here at Richmond.
These drivers have yet to go down pit road as well. And we're easing in on a green flag pit stop here.
Yes, we are, but we got some action up front because here we go. Ryan Gavel trying to look and find his way past Chad Frankenfield as they put Hank Steinmiller down a lap. So the man who needed a win right now has to not only get his lap back, but then drive through the entire field. So odds are looking pretty bleak right now for the driver number 63. But there we go. Gavel now over Frankenfield. And Gavel, again, looking strong here late in this run.
Doing all he can. He knows a ticket to the championship 4 is a win there as he slides out of turn 4 there.
Gonna give Chad an opportunity to look into turn number 1, but isn't quite able to get there.
And now it's a 4-car jam session, all behind the 90th Scott Crump there, who's 2 seconds up the road.
So yeah, Crump in definitely the most comfortable position right now because there's Shane Terrian fending off the hard-charging Ryan Gavel. Chad Frankenfield is going to be fending off Tate Lytle here in just a moment's notice. And right now, late into this run, it feels like it's Gavel and Lytle who have the best pace, at least in this group. But Scott Crump, I think, is still outpacing all of these guys.
And you saw him, he wasn't around traffic, so he was able to make clean laps there. He's not in a position where he is having to defend like what we're seeing with the 83, the 01, the 56, and the 15.
Yeah, clearing a good chunk of that traffic obviously helps as well. So right now it's clear track ahead entirely for Scott Crump. I think these guys were just getting through the last bit of lap traffic, so that certainly doesn't help. But now they're all back on even footing. We'll see how the lap times compare. It still looks like it's advantage. Tate Lytle and Ryan Gavel are matching Scott Crump, but Shane Terrian is definitely falling back from these guys by about 1/10 of a second per lap.
And what is that? Is that just tire wear? Is that the car?
I think it's tire wear is probably what it would be my best guess. These guys were probably pushing hard early on in the race. We did see that from Terry, and as he's now side by side with Ryan Gavel as they switch back and forth position wise. But yeah, I mean, you go hard, you try to attack Scott Crump early on in the run for Shane, and that's obviously the result right there. And Chad as well, I think, was aggressive moving forward early on in the race, trying to make up positions. He got those, and in an intermediate run, that's perfect. But as this run continues to extend lap after lap, all of a sudden, all those laps ago when you burned off that rubber to gain those positions, it's coming back to bite you right now as you're just trying to make it to that next pit stop.
And you saw the 01 get around the 83, and the 56 car is going to clear. Ooh, that was close.
Man. Another 4 car.
Battle as a caution flag is out. Our 4th one of the night.
So 4 car looked like he had already come down pit road, I think, for Ryan Schold. Would have to take a look and see he had.
Did not want to see that caution there. Needed to get at least one of his laps back. Might be able to get the wave around here. Let's take a look and see what brought out the caution.
Oh, Michael Goodman.
Bit of a slide.
Ooh.
Oh, Joshua Clark can't avoid him. Punts him in the rear, and he goes around.
Yeah, big there for Clark. And then I think we saw after the fact, Josh Adams got caught up, or got reported as caught up in this too. I wonder what happened to Adams. Is the entire field on pit road right now. So no issues there for Michael Goodman. I wonder what happened to Josh Clark. This might have been just 2 separate incidents here. As here we go, the 1 car slowing down.
We saw the 28 car get it, and then the one on the brake, and then yes, trying to avoid the 28 and the 44. Hard on the brake there, and just gets it into the inside wall. On pit road, Ryan Gavel is going to beat the 83 and the 56. It looks like a terrible stop for Scott Crump.
Yeah, not great on and off pit road for Scott Crump. What happened there? It was 15 seconds stationary, but it looks like he's getting those spots back, actually, at least ahead of Lytle and Terrian. But yeah, about 2 seconds.
Where that scoring line is.
Yeah, 2 seconds slower on and off of pit road than the others around him. So Gavel becomes your new race leader here.
And that's the first lead change we've had of the day.
Yeah, it is, and obviously huge for Ryan Gavel. A great opportunity right now. We saw how good he was at the end of that last run. And while he needs points, this is the best way to get some points. And obviously, the best way to lock yourself into the next round is to win the race. He now puts himself in the best position.
Certainly had a pace there, and we're seeing the 3 best cars so far of the race. Start 1, 2, 3. We are going to take a quick break, though, under this 4th caution flag. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the Richmond 200 live on the Elite Racing Network. Well, not so good news for the 01 car, caught speeding. He'll have to restart at the tail end of this long line. That hands the lead back to Scott Crump. And we're back underway here. Green flag is back out at Richmond.
Yeah, so rough blow there for Ryan Gavel after having driven up through the field. He's going to have to do that again. Tate Lytle, meanwhile, does get to keep his spot and restarts in second. Right now running second. Going to have to fend off Chad Frankenfield probably for the first 15 to 20 laps if he can. And then you'd expect to start to see that balance shift back in favor of Tate Lytle if we do get a green flag run that long. Right now running lap 86 of 200. As Tyler Fody working his way past Hunter Smith right now.
Everybody on new tires here. And first side-by-side battle you see right there is Nick Mass, or excuse me, Tyler Fody and Hunter Smith right there.
Yeah, and this is the best these guys' cars have felt for a good chunk of the night so far, or for a long while especially, because all of a sudden you've got these fresh tires, you've got that ability to drive in just a little bit deeper. You've got more fuel, of course, on board, so that hinders you a bit, but for the most part, what you can do with these new tires, it just feels so good to carry that much more speed through the corners, but you also got to be careful to make sure you don't overdo it, and then also to make sure that you save enough tire for yourself late in the run.
Ooh, contact there, heavy contact into the side of Andrew Rucker, I believe.
Might have been, yeah, Andrew Rucker looks like it.
And the 16 of Wesley Crump right there. They banged hard off one another.
And now Crump having to deal with Justin Fortner on his inside.
Ooh. Up the racetrack right there he goes. Gathers it up.
It's the battle right now going on for 12th position on the racetrack.
And there's this common misconception that the leader is driving the hardest. I don't believe so. Especially short track racing.
Ooh.
You are not. As we see the 27 push the 16 way high, this is a dogfight right here. And this is a battle for 12th.
I mean, I think we've seen a number of races at this point, haven't we, where how many cautions are caused by guys maybe running a little bit further behind the leaders. They are racing extremely hard for position here, and we're seeing this right now. Jesse Rasmus, Wesley Crump, Justin Fortner, Robert Hill now getting involved, 3 wide off of 4, and there was contact there, but everybody keeps it pointed in the right direction.
My goodness. See the 27 having to yield a number of spots right there. We go back up front, Tate Lytle still in control of that second spot.
Yeah, a little bit more tame, but we got some action just here on the backside of the top 10 between Zach Rogers and Josh Clark. Clark trying to get back into it, and Tate Lytle still stalking Scott Crump as much as he can, but Lytle and Frankenfield and Terry, and I think there's a great battle right here. Look at this train of cars just waiting right now.
And Clark having a good run here. Don't be surprised to see him pull something out of the hat as we see the 63 go another lap down. Looks like Hank has a problem of some sort.
Yeah, there's something not right about that 63 car, and for Hank, it's kind of it's a rough situation to be in right now because
he's the first car 1 lap down, but
yeah, you're still in it. You're not out of it, and at this point, you're just hoping for whatever. But the pace clearly isn't in that car either, and I think that's going to be rough for him to ever be able to come back from.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's demotivating sometimes just to do those laps and try to deal with that.
4 laps away from halfway. And with the exception of Ryan Gavel's illegal pass on pit road, illegal being he sped on pit road, it has been Scott Crump up front the entire race.
Yeah, Crump doing a great job controlling this one right now. Not pulling away early on at least. But he's looked good on the long run. He looked the best on the long run of any driver, of course, in that first stint, whether that was clean air, whether that was the pace that he has in the car and the way he has that set up. We'll find out. But, right now he has clean air again. There's no reason to suggest that he can't do that again. We'll see, of course, Tate Lytle in second if he can take any advantage of Scott Crump on the long run. But as things stand right now, Crump comfortably ahead while Tate's having to deal with Chad Frankenfield behind.
Don't know if that's really upsetting the pace out of that car, though. I just think Scott Crump has a fast car. And
yeah.
He's proving that currently. One lap away from making this race official.
Just in case we get some rain here.
In case there's some rain in the area. I don't know what it's been like weather-wise in your neck of the woods, but it was all rainy here today. So.
Well, I'm up in New England, so we got our first snow of the year, at least in Boston. So yeah, we don't get rain at this point. It's just it's all freezing.
Oh gosh, I go to Colorado next weekend. I'm not looking forward to it. There are temps I have not seen since I left that place, and I'm not looking forward.
Oh, having to walk outside in 20-degree temperature is never fun.
If I ever see another snowflake again, it'll be too soon.
Oh man. Yeah, North Carolina must be nice this time of year still.
It is, which is why I was very upset walking out. I'm like, what is this crap?
Guys close together on the field right now. Not too many overtaking moves of any kind really going on until we get back here to who is this? Wesley Crump, Ryan Gavel trying to recover again.
He's definitely made the most spots, I believe, on this restart. And
yeah.
The pace in that car to see what if we get a late race restart, that 01 car could be a factor if he gets the track position back.
He could, and I mean it took him maybe 60 laps to get up to the front with some cautions. He can certainly do that again. We just ticked over now to past halfway. And he's got the pace in that car. He's got the ability right now and the belief in himself to make that drive up the order as well. The big problem for him, of course, is that sitting in second and third right now are the two guys who occupy those other two spots in the championship. So he kind of has to go all the way up front and win it as long as Chad Frankenfield and Tate Lytle are going to stay the way they are.
Yeah. Big slide for just Erasmus there.
Erasmus going to lose a spot to Robert Hill Jr. on the outside. Ooh.
Oh, Erasmus is going to lose more than that. Can he keep the car under control there? Misses the corner. Keeps it out of the wall, though. And he lost at least two more.
Going to take a moment here while we've got maybe a little bit of a lull in the action. Hopefully guys start to pick things up. We got a couple of passes going on, but for the most part, guys single filed out. Take a chance to pay some bills, starting with, of course, TA Services for over 36 years. TA Services has been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves what matters to you. Also want to thank Breezy Cam. It's a venture-based tech company based in Toronto and Boston, and they're on a mission to reimagine the group photo experience. Gone are the days of carrying around a tripod or a selfie stick. They help their customers and users tell better stories around meaningful moments. Of course, also want to shout out Blue Egg Marketing, sponsor of the number 40 car, Tyler Fody, that we've seen a couple of times tonight. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small business owners. So if you do own a small business, check out Blue Egg Marketing because they're your absolute biggest fans. Whatever your constraints are, they help catalyze creativity and they will help your business punch above its weight class. So thank you so much, of course, to our premier sponsors here at the Elite Racing Leagues, and of course, our series sponsor, joinaps.com. APS offers a complete solution for all types of businesses that need to process credit card related transaction. Their industry-specific solutions provide the best options for your business model. They have experienced client service representatives who understand exactly what your processing needs are. So shout out joinaps.com. They've been with us here at the Elite Racing Leagues forever. Of course, want to shout out TA Services, Blue Egg Marketing, and Breezy Cam, all for being premier sponsors across all of our leagues here this 2022B season.
Could not get it done without them. And certainly a well-deserved thank you for everything that they have done throughout not just this season, but throughout the entirety of this league's career. So, taking a look there, Matthew Weeks, one of those drivers got to feel comfortable here tonight, but the pressure will be on next week.
Yeah, it will. I mean, he gets a chance to rest for a week, of course, for 2 weeks, right? And so that's beneficial for him. But you're thinking this entire time, man, how am I going to prep? How am I going to make sure that I'm in the best possible scenario for that final race coming up in just 1 week's time? There's a little bit of a blink there for Matthew Weeks. Don't want to be seeing that, of course, when you get to Nashville next week. And speaking of that, Nashville, I think this might be the first time, if I'm correct, that it's host of the championship race here in the joinaps.com Cup Series. We usually will go between, Iowa, I think, and Phoenix are typically tracks that we'll try to go to. Last season, I remember, was Iowa. And then Homestead, Miami, of course, we've probably done a couple of times.
Yes, I remember Homestead, Miami, and Phoenix. But yes, Nashville, to my knowledge, it will be the first time. Mile-and-a-half track.
We've actually done a pretty good job at diversifying. We've had Atlanta, Phoenix, Homestead, Iowa. We had Phoenix a second time, and then, of course, Nashville for the first time. And then Homestead we had a number of years back for the first ever season. Was that championship was held, of course, at Homestead. So, yeah, first time for Nashville. Looking forward to that. I think that'll be an interesting race, won't it? It's a bit of a unique racetrack, right? The largest concrete oval. I believe I'm correct in saying.
Yes.
So kind of like a slightly larger Dover, except not really. Yeah.
Yeah. But those that can handle the concrete are definitely going to be in a better spot than those that cannot. I remember a driver that used to call him Concrete Carl Edwards. He won all the time on concrete. I don't know what it is about the difference of pavement, but it works. And if you can handle it virtually there, you're good at Dover. You're more than likely really good at Nashville. Two drivers that are fending for those final two spots. They're running second and third. Frankenfield has actually gotten past Lytle.
Yeah, he has. We missed that off screen there. Chad Frankenfield making that overtake. Couple of laps back, actually. But yeah, I mean, Tate Lytle hasn't really let him get away. But these two, while they have been squabbling, have let Scott Crump get away. So he's about a second right now up the road from Frankenfield and Lytle, and we're starting to see shades of that last run, right, where it's just Scott Crump kind of in a league of his own, even on these long runs. And more surprisingly to me is the drop-off in pace that we're seeing from Tate Lytle relative to those around, because so late in that run, it did seem like that 56 car was just the best car in that group, despite the fact that he had to drive his way all the way back up there.
I have to wonder, perhaps maybe other drivers just got better adjustments.
That's absolutely a great point. I mean, you're going to get a better feel for the car, and you're going to drive it a little bit differently on those fresher tires, and that could exactly be what we're seeing here. We know, of course, to be in this type of level and to be competing at this level, you cannot be stagnant in what you're doing lap after lap. So these guys, I'm sure, are making changes, not just every stint, but possibly every lap too, trying to just find, every hundredth of a second, every thousandth of a second that's going to give them an advantage. Hank Steinmiller trying to work his way back around. Of course, he is 1 lap down, I believe, from these leaders. I have to take a look and see.
I just saw him on pit road there.
Oh, he's multiple laps down. No, Hank Steinmiller almost 15 laps down. Yeah.
He must have had a big issue there. Just decided to finally get it fixed. Car looks better, both virtually and just speed-wise there as he's making passes. But I don't believe it's gonna come home a winner, and that would take out his shot of being a part of that championship for next week.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's pretty safe at this point to say it's day over for Hank Steinmiller. I don't think you're coming back from 13 laps down, no matter how good your car is in this one. So a little unfortunate for him to have it end that way in back-to-back races, being kind of taken out, out of your control.
Yeah, and you have to wonder what might have been there, because he was in position to perhaps win that race at New Hampshire. When he and the 11 made contact. But such is life.
Yeah, that's part of this, and it's going to force you to really have to throw together the best 3-race stretch you can before the championship 4, and of course luck's going to factor into that sometimes. But here we go, Tate Lytle, Chad Frankenfield going back at it, and these two got to be careful playing with each other, of course. Because if the two take each other out, all of a sudden, then someone else, 2 other guys are going to have an opportunity, and both of them have to be talking to each other and saying, "Hey, let's be smart here. We're both in the championship right now. If we just keep doing our thing, like let's race, sure, but let's race each other nice and clean."
Exactly. Don't want to be the guy that ruins a season worth of work with one mistake. So,
absolutely not.
Scott Crump up the road 1.4 seconds in front of Tate Lytle. And you can see that by just virtue by the screen. You can see him just spinning out. And who is that just a lap behind? That's not the 83, right? No.
It is the 83. So not a lap down, but now starting to catch these guys back up. It is Shane Terrian. So he's now getting back into this fight. So a little bit of a different run for him. Remember, he was kind of the first one to really drop off pace-wise, on those older tires, and now all of a sudden he's looking very strong late into this run. As car in front of Tate Lytle.
31. Is that Gerald Campbell?
I think it was.
And yeah. The 56 car definitely piled into him there. Hopefully not a lot of damage.
Quickly check the Whiskey Cast replay since we're going to stay under green here. And watch this on board with Tate Lytle, because that's going to be scary, of course, seeing that 31 car going to the wall directly in front of you.
You're never quite safe.
They make contact. They do. Yeah. There is a little bit of a touch there.
And Tate did a good job. One, he got hit. He hit the 31 car, and then he got punted by the 15. Into that corner, so some heads-up driving by the 56 to make sure that was not a bigger issue than what it was, and he's still in second spot.
Absolutely, keeping it pointed in the right direction. Everything, of course, still losing time now to Scott Crump, but staying ahead of Chad Frankenfield, more importantly for his championship hopes. And then Shane Terrian has some ways to go to catch back up to these guys. As he was right on the bumper there of Chad Frankenfield, now a couple of car lengths back.
Woo! We are winding things down here at Richmond, and we have one more pit stop still going to be made by these guys, but I'll leave you with a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching the Richmond 200 right here live on the Elite Racing Network. welcome back. The Richmond 200 still clean and green for now. 60 laps to go here, less than 60, 59 to go. And we're getting toward the end of this thing here, Rashav. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a consistency type race when we've gotten these green flag runs, right? And that's been intriguing. But of course, we've seen how quickly it can turn into a short run type of event. We are back inside the pit window, of course, now. So guys waiting for the right opportunity to come down pit road. I wonder if it's going to be waiting until that tank runs dry effectively, because you're hoping for that caution to come out and get that free pit stop. So could be some ways. What did you say? You said about 90 laps is what we expect to see people run on fuel. So probably not until lap 170 would we expect to see drivers come down pit road then.
And that's based on, I believe, real life calculations between 90 and 95. So we'll see. But the one thing that's got to be concerning if you decide to pit is when. You don't want to be trapped a lap down. But also, if you put on new tires, and we have seen drivers fly through the field 2 seconds a lap, it could be worth it. So we'll see. If it'll be interesting to see if somebody like Lytle or Frankenfield elects to take that gamble. Although, to me, is a pretty big risk considering what they're racing for. But you see somebody like David Tooker, we haven't talked about him, in the 4th spot. And Matthew Weeks, hey, this is the driver. He has nothing to lose, so why not?
I was gonna say it's either gonna be somebody who has nothing to lose, or well, it's 100% gonna be someone who has nothing to lose. It's either gonna be a guy who's locked in right now, or it's gonna be a guy who's got a long shot to get in to the championship 4. So Matthew Weeks, absolutely nothing to lose here, going to see if he can grab another win. Gonna try and use that tire advantage early on, try to make up that one lap that he's gonna go down. If he goes just one lap down, it might be 2. But I think he'll get back out on the racetrack here before Scott Crump gets around.
He will so, and he'll have the fastest car. Now, the thing is, you know, the tire differential, you're going to be faster than everybody around. You don't want to be putting yourself into trouble. And I don't know what the iRacing spotter is like, but he's definitely going to be on overtime. As you see what new tires does, I mean, he all but drove over the back of Wyatt Knadel in that 84 car.
Yeah, you got to be just really careful of the way you tackle these corners, because you know you're going to get past this guy. It's just being patient and making that move at the safest moment to get past, because the last thing you want to do is be diving it up and result in a crash. This is really when crashes are most common, is when you've got a driver and you've got a huge pace differential between two different cars.
See the time he has made up there already on new tires there. It'll be interesting. Do we have that telemetry? Can we see what his lap versus what Scott Crump is running?
Yeah, so Matthew Weeks, that last time around, just ran a 22.79. Scott Crump ran a 24.26.
Yeah.
So about 1.5 seconds faster than Scott Crump up front. So it's a pace difference. It might not be as much as he was hoping, but it's also a pretty short lap. So you can kind of see it both ways, I suppose.
Yeah. But he is passing. I mean, for these guys that are deep in this field, they're hoping it goes green. And right now, nothing is telling me otherwise, that if it could go green, why not go ahead and short pit and try to get the most out of your tires here?
I think potentially it's the faster strategy, but it's also risky, of course. And so
high risk versus high reward here.
Yeah, and I think there's a number of guys who just aren't willing to take that risk, which is
they're no fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's unfortunate for us up here in the booth, but Matthew Weeks, you know, doing us a favor here and giving us something to keep an eye out for late in this race, and we're gonna follow him and his journey, as right now he's now unlapped himself up to 7th place Tyler Fody, and is still running very solid lap times. They're 23:04, so still about a second and a bit faster But that advantage is going to quickly die down, and then it's going to completely disappear, of course, when
Once the car comes down pit road.
exactly.
You're absolutely right.
So, but I mean, here you go. You saw how quickly he just drove past Tyler Fody.
It looked like I thought that 99 car was going down pit road.
It was Mark Rebelas. Good catch. So Matthew Weeks now gets past Shane Terrian, and there's that pace difference. There you see, it's huge.
It is definitely, and right now he's the first thing on his mind is unlapping himself. So if he does that, he'll be in good shape as far as protecting himself from the caution flag. Should we see a caution? And he's up to 5th place, Hunter Smith. Now he has Tucker, Friggitfield, Lytle, and Crump ahead of him.
Tucker, pretty easy. Frankenfield should be pretty easy as well. I mean, everybody should be pretty easy for Weeks to get by here. There you can just see that mid-corner speed. He's carrying. I want to see, actually, next time through the corner. What is Matthew Weeks running mid-corner? At 110. Chad Frankenfield. It's okay. It's a little bit tough to see fully on the telemetry here, but it is just significantly more speed mid-corner.
By the naked eye, as we see, he got blocked in right there.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
That's what you were talking about there, Soph, about how how these wrecks occur is because of the pace differential. I cannot say that word. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's a tough thing right there. Of course, good to get on the brakes there and check up, and here you go. You're just slicing through these guys, and you just got to be careful. Now he's got to get by Tate Lytle, but he's boxed in, and there's so many lap cars right now. This is brutal, and again, teammate who's in the championship hunt. You got to make sure that you're very, very careful around here. And Matthew Weeks knows, hey, if I, the strategy that I'm running right now, I want to win this race, of course, but I'm not going to do that at the cost of my teammates' chances of getting into the Final Four. So Lytle does drive up the track, and Weeks able to get by, but you just got to be careful there.
And also, another thing is that you want to get, the getting is good. Those tires are not going to, he's not going to have this pace forever, though. And once these guys do elect to start their final pit stop, then we're going to see him be one of the slowest cars. So he needs to get everything he can currently right now.
For sure, yeah. I mean, he still has about a 1.5 seconds advantage over those guys, in front of him. And we're going to start seeing him quickly tick off positions. There he's going to get by Joey Chapman now, and he's now sitting P17. About to be back on the lead lap. There's Scott Crump. But yeah, it's going to quickly shift.
There he goes. He unlapped himself, and that was key.
Oh, and the caution. Ooh.
Did he unlap himself right as the caution came out?
Maybe not. No way.
He would still be one lap. He was definitely the first car one lap down.
He will be. He'll get that back, but that's you'd almost rather be the guy who's. Yeah, man, we'll see. But here we go. Caution late in this race here in that final quarter. It's Justin Fortner.
If he's considered a lap down, because that'll be the difference between the starting of the tail end, and you're right, the 27 car. Oh, it's a self spin.
I just got down on the apron there. Not too sure what happened. There were two cars up high. I don't know if he maybe just compensated, giving them a little bit too much space. But you see here, you don't want to drive down on the apron there, and he got pretty far over that yellow line.
Yeah, he did. Not a lot of grip.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he saved the car, but I'm guessing they threw the caution when he backed up right there. And
for sure, yeah. I mean, good job keeping that out of the wall, but here we go. Everybody now on pit road. Matthew Weeks is going to stay out.
Is he a lap down? That's That is my question. Was he a lap down when the caution came out?
Right now, it seems like he's going to drive all the way past these guys. So I think he may be back on.
Well,
I mean, he's the leader.
is he the leader?
Yeah, it's showing as he's scoring as the leader. What I don't know is if they're going to classify him as the lucky dog. He is coming down pit road, so I think he was the lucky dog. So he's going to come down, grab tires, and he'll have his spot back at the end of the pack, and that's the right move. So unfortunate that doesn't work out for Matthew Weeks.
Darn.
But man,
We were talking about the risk versus reward strategy, and that almost paid off for him. He needed a couple of extra feet late second from when they took out that caution flag. I can't believe it.
yeah, man, that's a brutal, that's a tough break there for Weeks.
That is, but if you were gonna be a driver to try it, why not him?
Yeah.
That win in the book and in the bank, should I say?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got nothing to worry about there. It's more so just trying to go for it, see what you got. So Scott Crump, Tate Lytle, Chad Frankenfield all still lead the way. Hunter Smith and David Tooker make up that top five, and then you got Terry and Tyler Fody, of course, already locked in. Jeff Green, we haven't talked about him much. He's running inside the top 10 right now. Andrew Rucker, and then Ryan Gavel back inside the top 10. So will he have something potentially in this final stage of the race to find his way back up the order?
We are going to find out the answers to all those questions you just asked here in a moment. But currently, under caution for the 5th time, that gives us a chance to step away and take a break. We'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. You're watching the Richmond 200. Welcome back here, cleaning up just our 5th caution of the night. Things are winding down at virtual Richmond Speedway. Scott Crump, though, has been keeping the action fast and furious. He elected to start on the outside lane this time by, and he controls the race once more.
Good restart then from Tate Lytle, responding on the inside and staying ahead of Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith right now trying to get around teammate Chad Frankenfield. Wonder if there'll be any...
Give him plenty of room, hopefully.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be team orders there, especially with Frankenfield in the championship hunt. Shane Terrian trying to find his way past both of them. Of course, with Lytle and Frankenfield up this far of the order. Oh!
Frankenfield with a big slide, and we got a crash in turn 2.
Who's
Michael
that?
And others involved.
Nick Massey, I think, was involved in that one too, as we've got another caution out on the racetrack.
Man, if Chad did not go around, our focus was on Chad in that big slide there, but the crash was already occurring there.
I think that also saved Frankenfield from losing more positions.
4 spots. That'll be the 2nd time this race.
Oh, it happened way further up the road. It was Chris Wright in the 57 who looked to have lost it.
Yeah, let's see what happened to this 57 car.
Take a look. Oh, maybe not. It was the 24. All right, so we're just gonna keep trying to see if we can find. I think it was Hossack who was the root cause of this whole incident. So let's head back here. Take a look.
I don't think he does. He has no one behind him. Just enters really shallow, gets on the apron, then perhaps a netcode punch from the 16, but he collects a lot of them out of turn 2.
Yeah. Same issue we saw there earlier with Fortner, right? Of just of getting way too low there on the apron and spinning that car around.
Damage on the 57 car.
Yeah, 57 got caught up in kind of he got the first contact by Hossack, and then he got the rest of the contact by the rest of the pack. So, yeah, not ideal there for Chris Wright.
All right, well, we're quickly under caution again. We'll save our breath and voice here, and we'll come back with our final picks here once we go back under green. We'll be right back. Welcome back, cleaning up our 6th caution. 25 laps to go here in Rashov. That can only mean one thing. It's time for our counter here. It usually clicks over with 26 to go, right?
Is it 26 or 25? I think hopefully it'll say 25 to go. Let's take a look here.
We'll see it live.
We'll see it tick over there. There we go.
I was a lap ahead of myself, but for the last time this season, who do we think it is going to be? And I'll give you the courtesy of going first. I know who you're going to pick.
I mean, I was going to say you gave me the easy pick, didn't you? It surely has to be the guy who's led every lap here so far today. It's got to be Scott Crump, right? I mean, he has not put a foot wrong at all tonight. Strong in the short run, strong in the long run. Had that one slight mishap on and off of pit road, but it turns out somebody had to really speed to get past him anyways. So, hasn't really relinquished any kind of advantage. So, no, I mean, Scott Crump to me is the obvious answer here. And with 23 to go, he's already extending back out over Tate Lytle. Slow car on the bottom of the track. That's Matthew Weeks. So he's out of it, but we'll stay green for now. I'm going to go with Scott Crump.
It's like we haven't even been watching the same race. How could you pick that guy there? I'm going to have to go with second place there, Tate Lytle, then, since you took the easy route. And never count out the guy in that 56 car.
Never.
He's a defending series champion for a reason. He's doing everything he needs to do in order to make sure that his name is on that trophy for a 3rd time. It could be here tonight with a possible win. Right now, though, Lytle and Frankenfield are our top two contenders out of our championship grid. And they would be the final two to point themselves in automatically.
Yeah, they would. Frankenfield dropped a couple of spots, of course, with that that kind of half spin that he had before the most recent caution, but still in a good position as the guy who needs points on him, Shane Tarian, is still one car behind Chad Frankenfield. So not gaining anything there. Tate Lytle a little bit better to the good, but I mean, you'd need pretty much a miracle right now for one of those guys to win. For either Lytle or Frankenfield to be out, as there you see Shane Tarian a slide, and that's not quite what he wants, because that's going to let Tyler Fode on by.
He had gotten into the wall a couple of laps ago there, and it was a pretty hard hit. While you were mentioning Scott Crump there.
Yeah. So Tarian, I think right now just a little bit outclassed in terms of just overall pace in that car, unfortunately. As Frankenfield maybe a little bit of a moment off of two as well.
He needs to not lose any spots there. He's having a moment, just has to hang on in that car for 17 more laps. Ooh, a piece of the wall again.
Yeah, he nabs a little bit there. Scott Crump, let's see, Tate Lytle getting closer.
There, it's closer.
Yeah.
Has he not just been showing his hand?
I mean, yeah, we could see here Tate Lytle changing something up in terms of his last run.
How about Hunter Smith there? Doing an excellent job.
Yeah, that's a heck of a run.
Well.
Heck of a run for Hunter Smith right now. Up 9 from his starting spot, but I think just consistently worked his way up the order here, and he's legitimately holding pace here with Scott Crump, Tate Lytle, who've been up front for the majority of the night. And, of course, holding off David Tooker, who's no slouch either in this particular race and in this fight. David Tooker has been kind of a consistent fringe top 5 car all night long. He's also worked his way forward and into 4th position here. Maybe has a shot at 3rd here on Hunter Smith.
And that's an important position there, Rashov, because one of those people gets to speak to us at the end of the race, the other person doesn't.
Absolutely.
You know that we are the prize, so.
Oh, for sure. That's probably the most hotly contested position right there, is 3rd from 4th.
13 to go here, and it has been Scott Crump all night. He has not put a wheel out of place there. An excellent drive in an excellent car for the 90. Can he close it with less than 13 to go?
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen this from Crump before. This type of pace, this level of performance, but it's been a little while since he's been in Victory Road, right, in the Cup Series. We talked about this a ton last season with how good that 90 car had been at a number of points in the season, and to walk away from that one winless as well. I think you have to go back to an entire year ago, 2021B, the last time that 90 car was, let's take a look here, was actually in the Final Four. Or, excuse me, not in the Final Four, but in Victory Lane.
Oh. I was going to say, I won't be a part of the Final Four here, but Victory Lane will be. And we'll try to talk with our Final Four there. We used to do that there as well in our post-race show. 10 laps to go, a little less than 5 minutes of green flag racing. That's just 5 minutes left in your season. 5 minutes to make it and 5 minutes to throw it away. Coulda, woulda, shoulda for 5 other drivers that we know.
It can all disappear very, very quickly if you're not careful.
Yeah, and we have seen that happen. These races are never over until they are over.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, until the white flag waves, I'm always on the edge of my seat. I don't believe anything. Of course, you go back number of seasons now to that what we thought would be a surefire Tyler Fody victory. And I think the caution came out when he was about an inch away from receiving the white flag and ended up losing that race. It's never over until it's over.
It's never over until it is over. Just 7 laps remaining here with the Richmond 200. Despite the incidents that we have seen, it has been a pretty clean race here.
It has. It seems like it's been more drivers fighting with the car than it has been drivers fighting with each other, which is good to see. I think that's huge for us at short tracks. We've so many times seen just general lack of respect on these types of racetracks where guys just race each other way too hard, trying to go into a corner, and we see caution after caution after caution. But tonight, it's been generally, I think guys have been very respectful with each other. And it's just been the handling of your car itself going into a corner, coming out of the corner, especially where sometimes we're seeing some struggles. But Hunter Smith, he's decided, you know what, third's not good enough. I'm going to try and get second here off of Tate Lytle. This is an incredible run late in the race by Hunter Smith with 5 to go. He's trying to go for it.
Doing an excellent job there. And if I'm the 56 car, I might not want to push my luck too much. I might just let him go.
And it kind of looks like he just did there.
Right behind me, so I don't think I need to be worried, but you're right, the strong run continues for Hunter Smith. And, now up the second spot.
Yeah, I think Scott Crump a little bit too far out of reach for him at this point in the race with 3 to go. But second, that's a heck of a run by Hunter Smith if he's able to hold on to this one, as we're about to tick over to 2 laps to go.
Yep. I'm telling you, once he reaches the start-finish line, which he's now, he only wants to see one more flag. That's the white flag. That means that this race will end on the next lap. Like, the yellow could still come out.
Good battle going on there.
About to be decided here in less than a mile. White flag in the wind, 1 lap to go for Scott Crump. The pole setter has been virtually unstoppable all today. Passed only once, and that was on pit road, and that was an illegal pass. No one has been able to get around this 90 car all day long, and he's going to be rewarded with a trip to victory lane for his efforts today. Scott Crump gets it done in the Richmond 200.
Hunter Smith, P2.
Second. Tate Lytle, third. What a day. And I believe with their finishes there, Tate Lytle in third and Chad Frankenfield in fifth, your top championship 4 is going to come between the 15, the 56, the 11, and the 40 car.
I think you'd be right there, and I mean that's a heck of a championship 4 right there. I think you've got Tate Lytle, Tyler Fody, of course. I think season long have been incredible. Chad Frankenfield knows how to turn on the jets at the right moments for sure. And man, I remember we looked into this, and Frankenfield in a similar win drought to Scott Crump coming into tonight. Frankenfield, I don't know, has won a race since he last made the championship 4 and went on to win that championship. So he's in a good spot to potentially come back and grab his second joinaps.com Cup Series championship with a return to victory lane next week. So lots to play for, a lot that these guys are thinking through, but so much consistency throughout the chase from Lytle, from Frankenfield, and of course from Fody and Weeks, and they've earned their spot to fight for a championship. But Scott Crump, how about this? Good to see him. I say back in victory lane. I'm struggling to actually find the last time he was in victory lane. I wonder if Scott Crump has ever won a cup race, which just seems crazy to say.
I think he has, but
I feel like he has.
It has been a while. We can ask him about it.
Yeah.
Once he joins us here. But we have some people in the waiting room. I believe Tate Lytle, our third place driver, is in.
Absolutely. Well, let's bring him in here and chat with him then. So with a third place finish tonight, also finds his way into his third consecutive Final Four fight. Tate Lytle, man, what a drive up the order. Let me first say that in that first stint. That was a heck of a run to kind of get up into second and really stay there for the majority of the night. But talk us through, did you qualify or just mistake in qualifying? What happened there to start you back in 33rd?
We tore down the turn 2 wall in qualifying, so we had to start like 28th or something. And I was going to try and play the patient game, and we kind of run up there to probably 12th or 13th when that wreck happened. And that wreck when Chad and Fody and a few other people spun out, I got hit in the back and somehow kind of maneuvered around a couple cars, spun out, only had like 13 seconds of damage, and then had another scare. They were probably with 70 to go. 31 car about lost it off of 2, hit the wall, and came down right in front of me. And I thought the right front was going to be toast. So got really lucky that it wasn't. Otherwise, that would have been 2 heartbreaks this week. But yeah, no, that was a fun run up through the field. I mean, I had 20 lap fresher tires, so it's not like I can claim all of that. But it was pretty fun. I was hoping that run would go green because I was catching Crump about 3/10 a lap, and he was faster than me tonight on equal tires for sure, but I felt like if I got in front of him, it'd be really hard for him to pass me. And then that last run, Crump gave me the homie hook up there on the restart, and I had to kind of, I wanted to wait until the last couple laps if I was going to make a move on him for the win, and I kind of got loose off of 4 once, and Hunter got a run, and instead of fighting him, and ended up, backwards out of 4 or something, I let him go and just run third. I wanted to get in the championship 4, but
Yeah.
Shout out to Hunter Smith, man. I didn't see him, being the one to pass me on equal tires on the last run, but he ran a really good race. He ran me really clean there on the restart, and then he ran a really good last run. So good P2 there. I was hoping he'd get the Crump, and maybe we could, because I knew if he got the Crump would feel the bumper. I was hoping he'd get there and we could squeeze through and maybe steal one, but at the end of the day, it don't matter. Next week we're fighting for 3 in a row, and I mean, I think kind of like last year, the odds are stacked against me at the track selection. But I mean, like I said last season, it doesn't really matter where you're running. It just matters of circumstance, and if you can put yourself in the right circumstance at the right time, that's all that matters. I only led 1 lap last year at Iowa, and no one cared about the other 199 after that. So. It just, yeah, we got ourselves a situation. This is where you want to be. You just want to have a chance at it. Nashville, I haven't done any laps in the next gen car. I'm sure I'll do a few this week, but it'll be fun. But got to give a shout out to Brett Wentz. Days gone by. I don't know if he can get you some stuff before Christmas, but if you do it tonight, maybe. We're kind of getting on the back end of this. So go check out his Etsy page. You can find it on Twitter, or even if you just search Days Gone By with a Z on the internet, you can find it pretty easy. Shout out to Open Wheel Racing Jobs. Shout out to Pro Edge Racing. Shout out to Chad for putting up with all of us. And also shout out to Chad and Fody and Weeks for making the Final Four. It's gonna be a fun race next week, hopefully. And honestly, if I don't win, it's obviously I'll be cheering for the other Pro Edge car, but Fody and Chad deserve it just as much, so it should be a fun race.
Well, you've answered everything I was going to ask you about what it would mean to be, a 3-time champion, the first of your kind in this field. But what would that mean to you if you could pull off the victory by winning your 3rd championship?
I mean, last year it was kind of, it was exciting because it came down the last corner, and I yelled so loud I blacked out for a second. I think if I do it this year, I might yell so loud I passed out. So if for whatever reason I do, and you see me just go straight into turn 1, that's why. But I mean, it'd be pretty cool. I mean, I race with these guys twice a week, some of them even more than that at times, and I mean, I know I'm not the best driver out here. I know I haven't. There's no way you could say that, but if I could get lucky 3 seasons in a row in the Final Four and be a 3-time champion, I'd have a lot of running my mouth space, I guess, on Fody, and that's all that really matters to me.
All right, there. That's Tate Lytle.
Shout out to you guys too for
Avoiding
watching
them.
us race fake race cars for less than minimum wage. It takes takes quite the human being to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Rish, are you gonna be here next Wednesday?
Unfortunately not, man. I
Oh
wish.
my word! Where are you
Both
gonna
of us
be?
are gonna be gone.
I think I'm
Bring
driving
your-
home for the holidays.
Take your laptop and your headset. You could spare 2 hours for us. We need you.
I'll work something out with Dave. Maybe we'll see.
All right, sounds good. Peace out, guys.
Have
All
a
right.
great one there, Tate. Tate Lytle, finishing third here tonight. Let's get our second spot finisher.
Yeah, let's bring him in here and Hunter Smith, man, what a drive that was, especially towards the end.
Big drive.
Yeah, I mean Tate Lytle said it as well during our interview. Kind of came out of nowhere towards the end there. Talk us through that race and what you were feeling in that car, the confidence you seemed to have there towards the end of that race.
Yeah, luckily I finally got it together. During practice, I couldn't even scratch the top 20, and then especially this year in qualifying, I can't ever seem to get the car in the top 10. But after that first stint, I looked at my percentage, and I completely destroyed the right front. So going into my second stint, I settled the car down, make sure I didn't slide up the corners, and basically just following behind following behind Weeks. Essentially, I learned how he ran his line, and then I was able to improve on it, and it definitely worked because I was making some runs on there during late in the stints on those tires. So that's really where most of it came from.
Well, you were able to get your best spot, I believe, finishing spot of the year. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, this is huge. Me and Ryan and Justin, we started this Little League racing team only 3 seasons ago. So, I mean, it's been a heck of a journey for us, going from being just an IndyCar team to slowly getting into NASCAR. I finally put it together. That's all I got to say. I had a great run. I was running top 5 at Bristol, dirt, threw it in the wall. I had another good run later on, too, and just kept throwing it in the wall. A couple races ago, I forget what track it was, but I was running like 4th, and I threw it in the wall again on that one. So on the last lap. So finally being able to put it all together is it's definitely moving in the right direction. So going into 2023A, definitely might be trying to make some wins happen.
Well, you've gotten a chance to do this, I know, in the IndyCar series, but here in the Cup series, just as we do there, give you a chance to make some shout-outs while we have you on the air.
Yeah, no, just gotta thank Warriors for Peace, and then and their whole family. Their support for our team is fantastic. As well, this of course, shout out to my family who's out there watching this one. So, yeah. Other than that, not much more. It's been a heck of a time, and I appreciate you guys.
Well, it was a great seeing you there. Hunter Smith, second place, first runner-up for tonight's Richmond 200. Congratulations there.
Cheers.
All right, second place finisher, and then, well, let's bring in the race winner. And I did get it wrong. Last time, Scott Crump, you were in victory lane, was over a year ago, as crazy as it is to say, because it feels like every other week we're talking about you in contention for the victory, but that's just the level of competition this series, I suppose. But finally, back in victory lane here in 2022B, just how much does this one mean?
Oh, it really means a lot. It's my home track, so I was really excited about this one.
That's awesome. You had the whole field covered. What was it like to be that dominant?
It felt really good, but I've been in this position many times where about 3 or 4 times in the A car that I dominated and just cautions at the end. And some people stayed out, some people took rights, so I think the cautions just fell where we didn't have that issue, so I was able to bring it on home.
Man, I mean, it was just an incredible. Were there any moments, I suppose, where you felt potentially nervous in terms of just that pace? Obviously, when Gavel came out of pit road ahead, did you know instantly that he had sped, or was that only towards the end of that caution that you had really figured out? Because at the end of the day, you didn't actually really have to deal with dirty air outside of lapped cars at all. So never even got a chance to really see how that car handled there.
Yeah, that was really big to clean air. Yeah, I think Gavel was riding to the left too much down pit road, and it's been warnings earlier in the year about it. So they got him for that, gave me EOL. I slid just barely past my box head throwing in reverse, and that's what cost me the first place, and he barely beat me out.
Well, as winner of tonight's race, and rightfully so, want to give you the chance to shout out anyone and anything you'd like.
First, I want to give a shout out to Johnny Dunlap Racing. Ran his scheme tonight. He's a local legend around here. My grandfather worked for him here in Richmond, so that's why I'm pretty pumped about tonight. Also, give a shout out to my sponsor, Stay Tuned Sports Podcast. Jim Castellan. Excited I can get him to win tonight. And give a shout out to y'all up in the booth. Y'all do an awesome job. Give a shout out to Chad and shout out to Tate for the battle there at the end. And overall, it was a pretty good race. A lot of green flag racing actually for a while. And just really pumped for this win.
All right, there. Well, congratulations. That was really cool to watch there, Scott. Can't believe we don't talk to you much more. You seem to have had bad luck, but you used all the good luck here tonight.
Yeah, I feel like A-car, I've had about 6 or 7 slip away. So I've been right there just getting wins. I just can't never pull them out in the A-car for some reason. But I think this is only like my second win in the A-car, which is kind of crazy because I feel like last year I was really dominant, just didn't get any wins. So yeah, so hopefully next year we can put it together and be there for the championship next year.
All right, there. Scott Crump, winner of tonight's Richmond 200. Congratulations, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, Rashav, with that, we have set our championship for. We were unable to get everybody's opinions there, but we know, I believe, unofficially, I'll put it that way, Tate Lytle, Chad Friggerville, Tyler Fody, and then Matthew Weeks going to fight for a championship here. What a championship for, and each one of those four is equally deserving.
Yeah, equally deserving for sure. And man, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that race plays out. Of course, there's so many things that can happen, and I'm sure you do as well. But I still distinctly remember last year's championship race. I mean, the entire time we said it was a 3-man race. Tate Lytle was out of it. He was kind of the one who was flailing around towards the back, and all of a sudden, 5 laps to go. Okay, Tate's moving forward. 2 laps to go. Tate's in second. 1 lap to go. He's in the lead. And, oh, man, Tate Lytle just won back-to-back championships.
You never know. That's how you say it's never over until it's over. Because I know that this is my last race of the season, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has helped me. This season has, for me personally, has been a struggle. And physically, my health was not the best. And you guys mean so much to me, and it was so nice of you guys to even run a race in my honor, and I appreciate that. And just everybody, I just wanted to give a thank you. So I'll be sad that I'm missing next week, but I'll definitely have to tune in.
Absolutely, it's so great to have you back in the booth, man.
Thank you. All right, well, I think that is it here from virtual Richmond Speedway. Congratulations to Scott Crump. And yeah, we go to Nashville and championship racing next week. You're not going to miss it. 8:30 Wednesday. Don't go anywhere. Be there for the final time this season. We'll see you guys next time.